Sean Payton plus the Denver Broncos equals playoff contenders.
During Sean Payton's first press conference, a question arose about Russell Wilson bringing his personal quarterback coach, Jake Heaps, to the Denver Broncos training facility last season. Payton mentioned he wasn't aware of it. His response highlighted what seems to be an intriguing dynamic between a confident coach and a quarterback who had been hailed as a hero the previous year but struggled greatly. The 2022 Denver Broncos season was a mess last year, and we all know it. The Wilson was expected to be the savior for the Denver Broncos, but he failed greatly. The quarterback problems have persisted since Peyton Manning left. He turned out to be among the least effective quarterbacks in the NFL. The significant trade deal for the Broncos made to acquire him now seems like a huge mistake. The prior head coach, Nathaniel Hackett, seemed to put Wilson on a pedestal. He even had his own space in the facility and brought along a support team like Heaps, who had notable privileges within the facility. Hackett had previously mentioned that the Broncos aimed to mold their offense entirely around Russell Wilson. Before the season ended, Hackett was dismissed from his position. Wilson faced criticism throughout the year. Tales of his special treatment began to surface. The Broncos are banking on a successful partnership, especially considering the hefty 5-year extension worth nearly $243 million they awarded Wilson in 2022. Having experienced the pitfalls of not having a solid replacement for Manning between 2016 and 2021, which led to playoff droughts, the Broncos are eager to see a rejuvenated Wilson. If he, a 9-time Pro Bowler, can return to form, they might be able to attribute the dismal 2022 entirely to Hackett and look ahead. Wilson, for his part, seems optimistic about the new direction. This collaboration could potentially be a game changer. Wilson, known for his intensity and focus, might have found humility following a challenging season. Observers can't help but remember the synergy Peyton had with Drew Brees, another quarterback with a stature similar to Wilson, though their playing styles are very different. With Sean Payton's track record, he could very well steer Wilson back towards his Hall of Fame trajectory. After all, there's a significant reason the Broncos exchanged valuable draft picks for Payton, a tried and tested asset. The lingering question, however, is whether Wilson, after reportedly feeling he lacked a voice towards the end of his tenure with the Seahawks, will fully embrace Payton's rigorous coaching and refreshed offensive strategy. When Sean Payton was with the New Orleans Saints, the organization's philosophy on the salary cap was to worry about it another day. The Broncos seem like they'll follow that same plan. Denver spent big money during the offseason. There were 12 players who got deals of more than $44 million to switch teams in free agency, and Denver gave out 3 of those contracts. They signed defensive lineman Zach Allen to a 3-year, $47.75 million deal. They built the offensive line with their right tackle Mike McGlinchey, who got a 5-year, $87.5 million deal, and guard Ben Powers with a 4-year, $51.5 million deal. Those were just mega deals. They also signed backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham, running back Samaje Perine, and then added pass rusher Frank Clark later in the offseason. The draft was thin due to Russell Wilson and Sean Payton trades, but they were able to cash out with value picks with wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr., linebacker Drew Sanders, and cornerback Riley Moss were all legitimate picks. The statistics are hard to ignore. Out of 384 quarterbacks with at least 300 attempts in a season since 2012, Russell Wilson's passing success rate from last year was alarmingly low, placing him at the 374th spot based on data from True Media Sports. This puts him alongside quarterbacks like Mike Glennon, Blaine Gabbert, Deshaun Kaiser, Zach Wilson, and Josh Rosen. Not the company a player of Wilson's stature would expect to keep. Anyone who watched Wilson's performance wouldn't need these numbers to gauge the depth of his struggles. Should the partnership with Sean Payton fall through, Denver faces a daunting prospect, potentially shouldering a staggering $85 million in dead cap space if they decide to cut ties with Wilson before June 1st. On the bright side, bookmakers seem to have a tempered optimism about the Broncos' prospects under Sean Payton's leadership, setting Denver's win total at 8.5, though with the odds favoring them falling short reflects a belief in a potential upward shift. A record-surpassing .500 would mark a significant leap from last year's performance. Transitioning from Nathaniel Hackett to a caliber coach like Payton, who's on a trajectory towards Hall of Fame recognition, might just catalyze the necessary transformation. Given the anticipation that surrounded the team before the start of last year, combined with the additions made during free agency, betting on Denver's resurgence doesn't seem too far-fetched. I'm so positive that Russell Wilson is going to get a resurgence through Sean Payton that I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And if you're interested in making money this football season, head over to Prize Picks and use code RFF for a deposited match up to $100. And I got a discount for you. Dak Prescott just has to pass 1 yard against the New York Giants against week 1, but I'm going to pair that up with Russell Wilson embarrassing the Las Vegas Raiders defense. And I'm going to take his 235.5 passing yards and I'm going to hit the over on that one. Those two, it's easy money. Congratulations. Thank me later. It's evident that the team has invested significantly in fortifying the offensive line. Given Wilson's less than stellar performance last year, it wouldn't be surprising if Payton employs a similar strategy in Denver, emphasizing the run game. The run game was huge for the New Orleans Saints. This could potentially alleviate some pressure off Wilson, allowing him to be more precise and effective. In regards to Denver's defense, despite facing turmoil offensively last season, they performed really well, securing the 10th spot in Football Outsiders DVOA rankings. This resilience was particularly notable even in the face of a demoralizing season, and even more so against that embarrassing loss against the Baker Mayfield-led LA Rams. The credit for this in part goes to the outstanding work of Ejiro Evero, the former defensive coordinator. With his departure to the Panthers and the return of former Broncos head coach Vance Joseph in a new role as defensive coordinator, the unit looks promising. With pillars like Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons, coupled with a fortified linebacker unit and solid interiors, the defense stands tall. The crucial variable remains the edge rushers. If the Broncos can extract major performances from the likes of Randy Gregory, Nick Bonito, or even newly added Frank Clark, they could be looking at a top 5 defensive rank in the upcoming season. The Broncos' quest for a new head coach was extensive and chaotic, but the end result brought a highly reputable figure in Sean Payton to the helm. There was a visible upturn in the Broncos' performance in the games following Nathaniel Hackett's exit. Hackett's tenure, to put it mildly, Denver possesses several foundational elements that point to an optimistic future. A robust defense, a versatile set of receivers, notably highlighted by Jerry Jeudy's stellar 2022 run, the leadership of an experienced coach in Payton, and of course, the seasoned quarterback Russell Wilson, whose credentials boast 9 Pro Bowl appearances in a decade. It would be a stretch to envision the Broncos eclipsing the Chiefs given their recent dominance. However, claiming the second spot in the AFC West isn't too crazy to think about. But I'm really curious of what you think, Denver Broncos fans.
You currently have Patrick Surtain II, who is one of the best corners in the NFL and is your leader for your defense, and you also have a young star still in Jerry Jeudy as your best wide receiver. You have been gifted with Sean Payton, who is a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame, and then you just need to bank on Russell Wilson channeling some sort of success that he had in Seattle. Do you believe in your Denver Broncos? Like, comment, and subscribe.